Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and a new rule type today. Well, I'll have a look at this in a moment. This has come in from SVEN'S. I think it's the second time they've sent us a puzzle, but first time featured on the channel. Welcome, Sve, if that's appropriate as a name. Now, don't forget there's all sorts going on around the channel. All sorts. So earlier in the week, Simon posted a video of himself solving a puzzle with competition winner Dominic, who got to join Simon on a collaboration for his success in solving March's monthly reward. Now, April's monthly reward is complete. That was the April Foolery pack. I mean, you could still try the puzzles, but this competition is over. And there will be very soon on Patreon, well, there are already solution videos going up, and you can check out what the difficult puzzles there, what paths were available. There are also, of course, lists of winners. They are going up at the moment as well. So we've been very dilatory on that this year, and apologies, but they will be going up and will get better. And next month, the patron reward is going to be Oil and Water by Blobs, who is fantastic. So we welcome Blobs back as a setter of Patreon packs. I mean, it's just going to be great fun. They're sort of, if you remember aquarium style puzzles, they're like those. We haven't done any for ages on the channel, but they're a very clever idea. Oil and water don't mix, one floats on the other. This is the point behind all of those puzzles. So there's loads of content in Patreon. Now, we've also got my solve of the American Crossword Puzzle Tournament final puzzle. That's an American style crossword. There's my monthly Cryptic Tangles with the Times Monthly Club special. Do check out Patreon. There's so much content, connections videos, and there have been line videos lately, all sorts going on there. It's a great puzzle club to join, and we earnestly urge you to do so. Now, you can also try our apps. They feature Killer Sudoku and Line Sudoku. No lines like these lines, but they are good fun as well, and good value too. So check them out. There's our merchandise, there's SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD. They're all on the links under the video. Coming up on Sunday on the channel. Not actually sure when this is going out. Is it out already? Anyway, Sunday is the day for the release of a collaboration video with Matt Parker from Stand Up Maths and Numberphile, who brought to our attention a puzzle he solved by programming from the MIT Mystery Hunt. And he wondered, could the Sudoku part of it be solved in a cleaner way? And you can see our video having a go at that one. Both Simon and myself on it, as well as Matt. It's entertaining stuff. Now, let's look at the rules of Low 5 by SVEN'S. So normal Sudoku rules apply. That means 1 to 9 will be going in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. The value of all digits in the grid is equal to the difference between the digit in the cell and the number 5. So the values are going to vary between 4, which is the maximum difference between 5 and a Sudoku number, and 0, which is the minimum. Digits do not repeat in cages, even that one, which is the only one where they could, and their values sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. So these two digits will have values that sum to 5 based on the value system I've just outlined. The values of digits along a red line are a consecutive set of non-repeating values that are in order, i.e. they increase or decrease along the line. Well, I said we hadn't seen lines like these before, but they're basically thermos without bulbs. No, they're not even that. They're kind of Renban thermos without bulbs. But, again, based on the value system in this puzzle, where the values of cells only go from 0 to 4. Arrows point towards the smaller of the two adjacent digits. So between these cells, that will be smaller than that. Okay, I mean, it's an odd rule set. It's a tough idea. Low 5, I guess no puzzle, no digit, no cell in the grid, that's the word I'm looking for, has a value of more than 5, even though some of them will have the digits from 6 to 9 in. I don't know, this is weird. Give it a go. I'm going to try now. Let's get cracking. So you can play it on that first link under the video. Okay, 8. 8 is a good starting point. 8 in 2 cells. Both digits have to have the value of 4 to get up to 8, because 4 is the maximum value. So that is a 1 and a 9. And then I think we look at the 6 in the same box. Now that we can't use 1 and 9, we've got to use the 2 values of 3. So do you see that these Sudoku digits split down into 2 different digits with value 4, 2 with value 3, 2 with value 2, 2 with value 1, and 1 with value 0, which is the digit 5. So we've always got, remembering 0 is an option for a value, can be quite hard. I think that's 2, 8, so both of them have the value of 3. Then we go to this one, where they both have the value of 2, and that must be 3, 7. And these digits have 4, 5, and 6. We could actually designate a new secret for this puzzle, where the complete value of every row, column, and box is not 45 anymore. It's 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 times 2. It's 20. That's a real fall in the secret. And the year is no longer the secret squared, which is 2025, because the year would be 400 AD if that was the case. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. I'm just blabbering. Right. What else do we get from that? See, these other, well, that 11, that's quite a big number. That's got to have the 2 4 values in it, 1 and 9, and one of the 3 values, which is 2 or 8. The 3 cage could be made up of a 0 and a 1 and a 2. And there may be other combinations available. The 4 cage, it's not like that one, because this one could be a 4 and a 0, a 3 and a 1, a 2 and a 2, and I reckon there are 5 different combinations of digits, so 10 in total configurations in this cage, so I'm not pencil marking that. Okay, let's look at the line in row 1, because that is a 4-cell line. Right, it doesn't have a value of 4 on it, because 4 is used up in that 8 cage. So the values on this are 3, 2, 1, and 0. So one end of it, there is a 5. The rule, remember, said that they go in ascending order and they are consecutive. So 0 at one end, 1 will be a 3 or a 7 in one of those cells. The other of those cells will be selected from 2 or 8 with a value of 2, and the other of these cells that isn't a 5 has a value of 3. Hang on, I've managed to confuse myself. I got this wrong, didn't I? Sorry. Here we have a 4 or a 6 as the value of 1, a 3 or a 7 as the value of 2, and then in the outies we have a 2 or an 8. Now this line, we can't use 1 and 9 on this line. I think this is right. Yeah, we can't, because it's like a Renban that is bounded by these 2 values of 3. So the values on this are 2, 1, and 0. They all have to be different. It can't go 1, 0, or minus 1. That's not a concept here. We're using the absolute values of the differences. So this is 2, 1, and 0. So one of them is a 5, and it's in one of those cells. The middle one has a value of 1 and is 4 or 6. Now, I am seeing some things about 5s, which I'll do in a moment, but the outer one is a 3 or a 7, the one that isn't a 5. This either goes 5, 4, 6, 3, 7, meaning values of 0, 1, 2, or the other way round. Now, first of all, 5 is in one of those cells, so it's not here in box 2. So it is here on the red line, and we've got a digit in the puzzle. Towards the end of the 5th minute of solving, I have a 5. How appropriate is that? Now, this can't be 5. This can't be 5 because of that 5 pair. So this is 5, and we have another digit. Now, this is the value of 0 on this line. So this is the value of 1, which is 4 or 6. I'm just getting it straight in my head. This is the value of 2, and this is the value of 3. The remaining digits in this row are selected from 2, 3, 7, 8. I was going to say they're either a 2, 3 pair or a 7, 8 pair, but that wouldn't be right. There's no reason they have to be from the same genuine digit polarity, because that could be 3 and that could be 8, and this line would be fulfilled correctly. However, look, there's a 3, 5, 7 triple, and these are 4 and 6, so these are from 1, 2, 8, 9. Okay, that's interesting on this line, the last of the red lines. I'm realizing now how helpful these red lines are and how sad I am to see the back of them almost immediately. Because they're not just in sequence, they're ascending or descending as well. This is much more helpful than the average Renban or Thermo. Anyway, what I was going to say is this cell cannot have a value of 0 or 1 because they've all been used up in the column. So its value is 2, 3 or 4. But this one has a value of 3 or 4 because the 4 6s are gone, the 5 is gone, and the 3 7s are gone. So this has a value of 3 or 4, and this has a value of 2, 3 or 4. But those values have to be 2 cells apart. So I think this has to have a value of 2 and this has to have a value of 4. So that's a 1 or a 9. This is a value of 3, 2 or 8. This is a value of 2, 3 or 7. I think that's got to be. This had a value of 2, 3 or 4. That had a value of 3 or 4. But we have to be in sequence. That is it. My brain was telling me that was right, but I had to work it out. Excuse me 1 second. Right, so, sorry about that. Where are we then? We've got these other little arrows that are given. They are telling us that the digit value is lower where it's being pointed to. How does that help? I don't know. Something I was noticing earlier, this might help here. Something I was noticing earlier was that 1 and 9 are in a pair there. Well, they're in a trio of cells there. They're up there. They must be in these cells. But that can't be a 1 because it's pointing to a lower digit. And this can't be a 9 because it's being pointed to by a higher digit. Sorry, I didn't manage to take 1 out of that cell. There we go. That doesn't really do anything, does it? Now, okay, when I was talking, there's lots of other cages I haven't explored here, and these look like middly values. Well, that one's not, actually, no. I'm going to come back to this one in a second, but look at the 1 cage. That's got to have a value of 0 and 1 in it. That's actually very clear. So that has a 5 and either 4 or 6. Now can we work up to the 3 cage, which can't have a 0 value in it, so it's got a 1 value and a 2 value. One of those is 4, 6, the other is 3 or 7. Then the 5 cage has a 2 value and a 3 value because the 0s and the 1s have gone. It's weird, isn't it? So the 1, 9 in this box are in these cells, and that can't be 1 or 9. But we know that this cage has got 2 of those in it. So we know where they are now. That is a 1, 9 pair. That's looking at that cell, which isn't 1 or 9, so this one must be. That's really strange. Now, I was going to come back to this cage. which when I was describing it earlier, I thought there were multiple ways of making up 3 in 3 cells. I now don't believe there are, because there's only 2 1 values available in the puzzle. They can't both go in this cage, because then you'd need a third one. So this cage is actually made up of a 0, a 1 and a 2 value. So 5 is in this cage. It's not there by Sudoku. It's in one of those cells. And the other digits are either 4 or 6 and either 3 or 7. It's not easy to pencil mark, but now the 3-7 pair has been used up in this row. This 7 cage, therefore, doesn't have a, no, it could never have had a 2 value in it. In fact, it's definitely got a 4 value and a 3 value. The 3 value is the other digit from 2-8. And trying to keep track of what's being used in this row, one of these has a value of 4 and is 1 or 9. The other one is 4 or 6 and has a value of 1. This digit cannot be 1 or 9 because it's in a string of cells. It's both lower than that digit and higher than that digit. So that is the 4 or 6. This digit is the 1 or 9. And we've got another pair and another pair of 1 9s. Oh, this, no, well, I mean, that doesn't affect the 6 sum, but, okay, I don't even know where to go next. Let's go to this 6 cage. This has got, oh, it could have been all sorts. It could have had values of 0, 1, 1, 4. That's only just been ruled out by the 4 turning up in both those cells. Okay, let's not do the 6 cage. I think that's too middly after all. So is the 8 cage. This isn't very helpful now. I'll tell you what is interesting. Okay, 4, 5 and 6 can't be in those cells based on the pencil mark or in these ones based on Sudoku. So 4, 5 and 6, which have the values of 1, 1 and 0, have to be in these cells. Now you can't put 2 of them in there to get to a value of 4. So you've got to put 2 of them into these cells and 1 of them into here. Now I don't know if it's the 5 going with a 1, 9 or a 4 or 6 going with a 2, 8. So I can't do any more. Now we worked out the new secret was 20 and we've got 14 in this row, so these 3 add up to 6. Not very helpful. Oh, the 1, 9 pair there acts on that cell, stops it being a 9, so we've found 9 in box 3, and then we found 1. And 1 in box 6 is going to be in one of those cells, 9 is going to be in one of those 2. But we've got this 1, 9 pair in action. What's happening here? Something else is happening here. 10 cage, that's so middly. It's not a useful number to me. It's so strange, this puzzle. You just don't quite know what's going on. Okay, in this row, I've put in a lot of digits, or pairs. 1, 9, 4, 6, 2, 8, and 5's in one of those cells. So this is 3 or 7. Maybe I can use this arrow. Actually, this arrow sequence is beckoning too, but let's look at this one first of all. This digit can't be a 7 because it's lower than that. This digit can't be a 3 because it's higher than that. So it's a 7. And 7 comes out of those cells. One of those is now 8, and that makes this one a 2. The 7 stops that being a 7, and there's a 3, 5 pair that makes that a 7. Let's get rid of the corner mark. Now 2 can't be in those cells. They're a 3, 8 pair. This group of cells is 2, 4, 6 by elimination. I'm going to look at this in a moment, but first of all, I'm going to put an 8 in there. Now, this can't be 6 because it's less than that. This has to be higher than that cell, so it's not 3 or 4. I don't think the rest of this is resolved. Let's have a look at this final column though. No, let's not. I think we've obeyed these, well, not fully obeyed all of these arrows. Now, what about this one? This digit can't be 1 or 2 because it's got to be bigger than that. This digit, this digit has to be smaller than 7, but it's not 6, 5 or 4. So it is 1, 2 or 3. Now what's that? Is that doing anything to the 4 cage, which can have one value from 0 or 1 in it? Could it have, it can't have two values because that would be a 3, 7 pair and that would break that cell. Can it have a 0 and a 4 value? Yes. Can it have a 1 and a 3 value? Probably. Oh, 2 is looking at that. That makes that an 8. I'm so tempted to write in 987 there. That is not how these lines work, as we can see up there. That 8, though, makes this a 9. That means, yeah, that's a value of 4. This has to be a value of 3. That's a 2. That fixes 8, 2. The 1, 9 pair has been resolved up here. The puzzle works in really strange ways. I have to say that. That 9 looks at that cell. That's going to tidy up lots of 1, 9s in the grid. 9, 1, 9 there. Don't know about these. That can't be 1. Now, that 2 or 8 is not resolved. Oh, it's head-wrecking, this. This is so weird. I didn't like these cages. I didn't really think about the 3 cage, but it doesn't have a value of 4 in it. That's unsurprising. It could have a 2 in it, along with a 5. That would be a value of 3 and 0. But alternatively, it could have 1 digit from 3, 7 and 1 from 4, 6. So it doesn't feel that helpful. There is an 8 somewhere in this cage, which has a value of 3. If it's there, it's fine. I was about to say, where does 1 go in this column? And then stick it here, but actually it could be in the 4 cage. Okay, we've got a 4 thrown into this 10 cage. Is that useful? Not really. It really isn't. The other digits add up to 6. They could be, there could be all sorts of things. They could include a 4. They could include 2 3s. There couldn't be 3 2s. That's about all they couldn't be. Oh, I'm not getting this puzzle at all, am I? Right, 7 is looking at that, so I hadn't seen that coming particularly. Oh, one of these, we've used the 5 and the 2 1 value cells, the 4 and 6. We've used the 2 value cells, 3 and 7. So the other one here is from 2 or 8, and that is a quadruple of 1, 2, 8, 9. Right. So 3, 4 and 6 are the other digits in the column. Is that all? It doesn't really do anything, does it? This digit in the 10 cage has a value of either 1 or 2. I don't know. I don't find it obvious what this means for the puzzle. can I rule out 1 from either of these positions? I honestly don't think I can. Maybe I need to look at this arrow string, because this arrow string was very valuable actually. Now, we can't have 9 or 8. Let's just fully thermomark it. So this is 7 at a max, and I'll go down to 4 at a minimum. I know I can't take it down below that because 2 is not available in this column anymore. Does the pencil marking do anything? Unsurprisingly not. Okay, let's look at this 8 cage, which I haven't really studied. And I think it's for good reason. Could it have a 0 in it? Could it have a 5 in it? Only if it had 2 values of 4. So it can't have a 5 in it because one of the values of 4 has gone in the column. If it had a value of 1 in it, which would be a 4 or a 6, and both of those are still missing in the column, then it would, then it couldn't exist either. Right. This is actually very valuable. What I should have done is used my new secret number of 20 on this column. That's what I should have done. I'm going to do it now. 8 there. The 1 is worth 4. The 8 and 2 are worth 3 each. We're up to 18 already. That means these other 3 cells have a total value of 2. And they must use the 0, therefore, which is a 5. They can't use another 0, so they must use 2 values of 1. These 3 cells are 4, 5, and 6. That's the only way you can do it. So that is a 5. I mean, that's a weird way of getting at this. This has to contain 3, 7, 9, which are values of 2, 2, and 4, and make sense in an 8 cage. This digit is less than that, so that's not the 3. This isn't the 9 by Sudoku. That 5 has made this a 3, so that's not a 3. It doesn't feel very helpful. But we got these 2 4s and 6s in place. That's a 4, 5, 6 triple in the bottom row. So this isn't 4 or 5. This puzzle is not unfolding in any way as expected. Now, let's do the whole 20 trick on this column as well. We've got a 4 and a 4 and a 2. That's worth 10. Plus the 6 there is 16. These 2 are worth 4, and that one is definitely worth 1. So this cell is worth 3 and is 2 or 8, and we've used 8. So that's a 2. It is weird how this comes together, but it does. And now in this row, we had 10 and 4 in the cages. That's 14. The 2 is worth 3. That's 17. That's worth 1, the 4 or 6. So this cell has to be worth 2 and is therefore not a 1 but is a 3. And that makes this a 7 by the rule and by elimination and all sorts. That's now a 4, 6 pair. We've got 1, 5, 7 and 8. This could be 1 and 5 adding up to 4, or this could be 5 and 1. Oh, this can't be a 7, 8 pair, which is the alternative, isn't it? Yes, digits that are worth 2. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've done something wrong. I've done something wrong recently. Have I? No, maybe I haven't. Maybe I haven't. But something has gone wrong in my calculations at the moment. In this row, I've got 1, 5, 7 and 8 to place, which are worth 4, 0, 2 and 3. The pair in here is worth 4. That has to be the 4 and the 0, doesn't it? And then this pair is worth 5, the 2 and the 3, and that works. Okay, that's fine. So the 1 goes in here with a 5, and that's how it must be. And that's an 8. And that's going to unwind a lot of the puzzle. I also know that these 3 had to add up to a value of 6. 2 has a value of 3, 3 has a value of 2. That's well, it's done. I don't know what that makes this digit. I'm so slow at understanding this rule set. but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. This group of cells in this column is 129, so that's become a 3. Now the arrows are telling me something. Well, no, first of all, Sudoku is telling me that's a 7. The confetti told me that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. 7, that's not a 7. The arrow says this isn't a 6, and I don't know how to unwind those. The 3 there is doing nothing in the bottom row. In this row, we've got 4, 6, 8, 9, 2. Oh, that can't be 1, so that's 1. That's 3 or 5. This is 3, 5, or 7. In this box, I don't know, 3, 8, 9, 1. I think the rest is probably Sudoku and these cages. Okay, let's look here. Value of 3, which is either a 0 and a 3, which could make this a 5-2 pair, or a value of 1 and a value of 2. I don't know. I don't know. I want to find a cheat way around that. Maybe using this string. Yes, 7 has gone out of this, right. 3, that's the only place for 3 in the row. This has to be bigger than that, so this can't be 6 anymore. So yes, the string of arrows did something there. That 4 makes this a 6, that makes this a 5. Now we've got something. Now we've got something. That's a 7, that's an 8, this is a 7. Those are values of 1, 2, 3, 4, which do add up to 10. Okay, the 6 looks up to the top. This puzzle's strange. We don't get a second 3 in the corner. I thought we were going to. I was going to kind of save up my singing feats for there, but that didn't happen. Right. Now, we can eliminate these down a lot. In fact, that is now a 3. That's now a 6, and that's now a 5, 4. I don't know, these must be known. That's a 7, and that's a 2. There we go. That 7 looks to here. 9 doesn't help on the arrow. This pair is a 2, 5 that can be written in, and they have the right value of 3 and 0. 7 there is looking at that cell. This is 3, 4, 8, which go in 3 in the middle, 8 at the bottom, 4 there. That makes this one a 6. This has got sorted out at least. That's become a 4. That does the column, which does the last cell on the arrows. Now, neither of those can be a 2, so the 2's in the middle. That can't be a 9, that can't be an 8. Chocolate teapot triple. These ones are 6, 7, and 8. I can write those in. And that is going to sort out that digit. And those are going to sort out these two. And there is the solution. I mean, it's a very clever puzzle. But yet again, one of those where something funky has been done with a rule. And it's very hard to keep track of in your head. That's a really interesting one. Well done if you cruised through that. I don't know what sort of brain you have to totally understand and assimilate that 9s and 1s are worth 4, etc. If you could assimilate, if you did a lot of puzzles like this, it would become very straightforward. But that really wasn't. Very clever stuff. SVE'S, and thank you for following us on the channel, anyone. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already, and like some of the videos, maybe just the ones you really like. How about that? And do feel free to leave a comment, especially if it's kind. See you again tomorrow. Bye for now.